and sit down.
Hello gang, Colin here, Festa 67's workshop. Oh, we've got a treat for you. Oh yes, build the legendary cyborg ROBOCOP. Yes folks, this is a partwork from our wonderful friends over at Fanhome. Link will appear on the screen shortly. And what can I say, this is going to build up into a 2 foot tall, 62 centimetres tall model of the original ROBOCOP from the original movies back in the day. As it says there, this is a precise even recreation of the original character from the 1987 film, and the details have been faithfully produced from the film stills. You've got the gadgets faithfully reproduced there, the spike from his hand, stunning sound effects coming out the speaker. You've got a realistic metal pistol that actually sits in the proper articulated holster in his thigh there. Fully articulated elbows, etc, etc. Carefully applied metallic grey paint, metal injection moulded plastic parts. You've got the face shape that's in silicone, and also you've got your step-by-step assembly constructions in the magazine. What else have we got? You've got the legend of ROBOCOP there, some blurb on it, and then obviously some info on the magazines, and then that opens out into a super massive ROBOCOP poster, folks. And yeah, so what more can we say about that, other than there's episode 1, or issue 1 should I say, of the magazine. As you can see, beautiful colour on the front there, and there he is looking slightly mean and moody as he does. Inside the issue there, you got some details there on what the index is of the magazine. You've got the genesis of ROBOCOP, going back in the day when a film student named Michael Miner conceived a story he called Supercop. Edney Meyer, a screenwriter, later come up with a story called ROBOCOP, and they collaborated to bring this to life, folks. So yeah, and I remember seeing this film when it first came out, and it was of its time. It really was. I loved the concept, and they did a reboot later on, but it didn't quite capture the original 1980s ROBOCOP. Obviously some information there, some background information, data file there on where and when this was all created. Then you get your step-by-step instructions there telling you what parts you get in each issue. There's your screwdriver that you need, all the different parts for the helmet that are included with this issue. And it also shows you on a silhouette of the model what you're actually building on that issue, folks. Here we go in section 1, step by step, all the parts that you need, how they go together, the fixing screws that you want, and what you'll end up with at the end of that stage. Love the way they do that. Very reminiscent of scale model kit instructions. There's the helmet outer casing there with the side parts with the screws that fix on that. Magnetic mount and a visor to go in, and then that gives you what you should end up with at the end of this issue of the magazine, folks. So that's what we're going to be doing today, issue 1. This is a picture of the finished model there that tells you that it's a meticulous reproduction of the character as seen on screen and is accurate in every detail. And look at the texture. Look at the texture on his face there, folks. Absolutely stunningly recreated. And yeah, I've been itching and itching, hoping that someone would release this, and Fanhome have gone and done it. So yeah. They've got some background there, robots in the ancient world, how they was represented, how people interpreted what robots would look like in the future, all the fantasy artwork there. And give these magazines a read, folks. They really are worth it. Then you've got transhumans there, the road to immortality, with all the AI and bits and pieces that people are looking at doing, and it just sees how the future might pan out with implants, robotics that may get implanted into humans to help with vision and mobility and all of that. And then you've got some more comments there on artificial arms and things like that, where robotics could come into it. So it really is an interesting read, this. It certainly explores the mind. You've got a nice little picture at the end there in RoboVision. See what I did there? And then nice little bit of back art on there. So that's the magazine looked at. So we'll park that to the back there so that I can see what I'm going to be assembling, like so. And you can download these from your portal as well. So let's have a look at what we get, and that's what you get in there, folks. You get a nice big section of parts there, all laid out, and then we'll pop these out of the plastic. We'll line our screws up and we'll start the assembly. So I'm just going to pop this apart off camera, and then we'll come back and start the assembly, folks. Oh, I'm so excited. Right, folks, we've got all of that laid out there. So let's have a look at this. There you go. So as you can see, there's his helmet, and the weight of that, it's die cast, as you can see. And I shall polish all of this right at the very end of the build, folks. So I shall go over this with a complete buffing sticks and all of that lot, and really polish it and get a shine on there. But what we're going to start doing, I've got my screws laid out there with the little cardboard labels next to each one. They come in the packet, so I've emptied all of those. And we start with the halves of the head, and these are plastic, these insets. And what I'll do as I build this is I'll tell you what the actual parts are made of when we go. Okay, so we have got part number 1G, which is that section there, and that's looking like it goes that way up with the curve facing down. And that just sits in there like that. Okay, and then we've got the same there, part number 1F, which is that shape, and it's got the semicircle on the top there. You want that facing upwards, and that locates in the groove just in the middle of the head, like so. He says, just try not to knock that out of the way. Just put that back in. And then you've got a top piece, which is here. And that goes in there like that, just like so. And then click them together, engaging all the parts as you put the halves together. Just give it a little wobble with your finger just to make sure you're engaging everything as it should. Check that the lug's there at the top. Pinch the magnet. That's what you want to try and do there. Like that. Because that will then have that in there. Just like that. Okay. So if you're happy with what you've got there, then you can put the screws in, which are 4 AP screws, which are these. Screwdriver's magnetic on this. And then just put your screws in like so. And just nip them up at this stage. Don't fully tighten them until you've got all of the screws in. Just in case you do have any alignment problems, you can then get to it. And I tend to go diagonals when I do these. Just my own personal preference. But it works for me. And then one in the back there. And already as a scale modeler, I'm seeing the potential on this for, yeah, nice little bit of festerization, as we call it. And that's just beginning to pinch that together nicely, so I can now go back round and nip up all the screws that I've put in, now that I'm happy that the pieces are being held in place, like so, and like so on that one. There you go. And that already is looking rather splendid, isn't it? Yeah. So we'll put that just to the side, and then we'll come up to this. Now you've got the two side parts, and they've got a little keyhole shape on them. See? That little tab poking out there. And that'll engage into the appropriate keyhole shape on the side of his helmet there. So just spin that round like that. And then you want a QP screw, one of them. And that's got the raised, almost built-in washer, is the best way of describing that. So just engage that in the tip of your screwdriver. Grab your piece, spin it so that it lines up, and then pop your screw in place. Just like that. There you go. And that's what you end up with. And it's even got the OCP Police 01 embedded in the side there. Same on the other side, same process. Pop your screw on the magnet driver, line it up with the keyhole, just like so. Hold it in place with your finger, unscrew up, and screw her home. Just like so. And already, whew, yeah, look at that. Yeah. So that's that. Let's turn the page, go into section number 3, and we can start assembling all of the other bits. So it says place the magnet holder 1J inside the helmet to check that the orientation is correct. Ensure the arrow marked is in the same direction as the larger one inside the helmet. So you see you've got large arrow there, so you want to make sure that that goes the same direction. What else is it? It says check the orientation is correct. Fix 1J in place with 2 EM screws, peeps. So that's what you need to do on this section. So let's get that in place like that. And this holds that big magnet in place. And you want the feet facing towards you, just like that. So if you could see that, there's the arrow, there's the large arrow, like so. Line that up, and it says you want 2 EM screws, which are these ones, like so. Because this is die cast, we'll get the 3-in-1 oil out for this. Tinsy wincy little pot of 3-in-1. But because we're going into die cast, tinsy wincy little bit on the end of the thread like so. Don't need a lot. And then just put the first screw in, give it a couple of turns, let her bite, and you'll feel the oil doing its thing. So I've not gone fully home yet because I've got the next one to do. You always end up with a spare screw at the end of each stage for each screw, so keep them because you never know, you might need them. There you go, that's fully engaged. And now I can screw this one fully home and then go back and do the other one. Like that. Don't go too mad, just nip it so that it grips the plastic against the flange. Like that. Nip. And that's that in place. It says then slide the visor 1B into the slots and press it in place securely. Rightio, let's have a look at those. There's the slots. And there's the end of where that sits. So you just want to do that and then slide it home. Just like that. And that'll be held in place by those. And look at that already. Oh, yeah. You'll notice as well I've got a cloth down. This is to protect this from scratching, folks. All right, we've then got the magnet itself to go in. Let's just make sure we got the orientation of that correct. And that then has got the recess facing up. Pop that in place like that. And then the magnet itself has an AP screw going in it, which is one of those. So you'll end up, as you can see there, with one of each left at the end of this section. So let's just pop the screw in place. A little bit fiddly, because don't forget you've got magnets here, and it's a magnetic screwdriver as well. So just take your time. I'm guiding it in with me thumb and finger of the other hand, because my situation, I have to do it that way. You might find it a lot easier. And then once you've got the threads in, you can then screw the magnet home like that. And that's what you'll end up with, just like that. And now that will magnetise to the top like that. And that's what you'll end up with. And then, as I say, when you want to show people, you can lift that off of the magnet like that, and then magnetise him back on. There you go. And that is this section complete. So straight away, you can already see the character forming of RoboCop. Now you've got Peter Weller's face has been done in silicone. You'll be getting that later on in the build, as well as the chin guard and things like that to finish this off. So this isn't the finished complete head yet, folks. This is just the beginning. And as you could see, I mean, this is going to be 2 foot tall, this. And, you know, I've got large hands. But, yeah, look at that. Oh, beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. So that's issue 1, episode 1, all done and dusted, folks. I look forward to seeing you in the next one, which will be episode 2. And I do believe we'll be assembling one of the feet. So I look forward to seeing you in that. Don't forget, hit up the link on the bottom of the screen there. Head over to Fanhome and order your RoboCop. And you can build along with me as we continue this wonderful, wonderful Partwork journey. I look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Stay safe. See you soon. Bye-bye. Oh, it's RoboCop. Oh.